Hey, this is Pamela Baird, your boundaries coach, and let's talk boundaries, shall we? In today's episode, I want to help you to answer the question, what is it that's keeping you broke? I just attended a business conference, and whoa, I've got some clips from this, and I want to be talking to you about 3 different things to consider when you think about what is it that's keeping you broke. What is it that's keeping you broke? Now, you may be thinking, well, I'm not broke. Well, let's kind of define broke. Broke typically means you're not able to do the things that you want to do. You're not able to go out and just buy the things you want to buy or to do the things that you want to do, to have entertainment, to go shopping, to go traveling, whatever it is, you're not able to do because of. There could be a situation. Well, I wanted to share with you some information. I'm going to include some clips in here from a business seminar or a business conference I just attended this past weekend, and it was called Paint the Vision. And at this conference, I had the honor of sitting down with the phenomenal Jean Marlowe Davis. This weekend was phenomenal, and everybody that I met there that I had an opportunity to network with was phenomenal. They were all entrepreneurs. Some of them were straddling the fence. You know, they had their own businesses, but they also had a job. But they figured out how to make it work, and they've also figured out how to increase their income. So I wanted to share with you 3 things that I want to talk to you about and helping you to decide is what is it that's keeping you broke. Now, you know I'm a boundaries coach, and everything I talk about in this podcast evolves around setting healthy boundaries. So why is it that we can't do the things we really want to do? What's holding us back? So here's the reason I want to ask you these questions. Here we are we're about to hit into March. So what does that mean? We've got 2 months under our belts. We've got January and February in the year 2025. So my question to you is, what have you accomplished in the past 2 months? Because I know you had some goals, some things that you would set out to do for the for the year, but here we are. We've already 2 months in. So what have you done? What have you accomplished? What's held you back? One of the questions that was asked at this conference was for us to get into a group of 2 people and to ask each other the question, what have you accomplished this year? For January and February. Once we identified the 3 things we accomplished, we then were asked the question and able to share with one another, what is it that we haven't accomplished that we wanted to accomplish so far, and what was the reason that we had not accomplished it? Now, the goal that Jean had for this was that we got a chance to verbalize the things that we did, the things we did not get a chance to do, and to really come up with the reason why we hadn't done it. Was the reason that we didn't accomplish what we wanted to accomplish based on an excuse, or what was it based on? So when we did that exercise, I thought, wow, there's a lot of things that I've been able to accomplish in the last 2 months. I'm so excited that I did. As far as the things that I had not accomplished that I wanted to accomplish in the past 2 months, I had 0. That's right. Because I was intentional at the beginning of the year in knowing what I wanted to accomplish. So I thought, let me ask you that question. What have you been able to accomplish in the past 2 months that you really wanted to accomplish by this time? You know, we're like at the almost at the end of the first quarter. So I want to make sure that you're staying on task, but I also want to make sure that you're also able to identify what's holding you back, what's holding you captive, what's preventing you from doing the things that you really want to do. Now, look, this is not the time to beat yourself up, because guess what? Hey, we've got 10 more months in this year. So this is a great time to catch up. But if you're not paying attention to how much time has gone by and what you've accomplished and really took a candid look at what you haven't been able to accomplish and why, then most chances are you may not get to that place where you want to get to by the end of this year. So let's go ahead and share some of the things that we talked about within this beautiful, amazing conference that I attended so that you can think about what may be holding you back, what may be holding you broke, or what may be preventing you from doing the things that you truly, truly want to get done. So I want us to look at 3 different areas where we may be preventing ourselves from moving forward in the areas what we need to move forward in. We're going to be looking at how to say no, and that no period is a full sentence. We're also going to be considering your association. Could it be that your association, someone within your association, is holding you back or distracting you or disrupting you from doing the things you really want to do? And the last one is, could it be that people pleasing is taking away too much of your time, taking up too much of your time so that you're not able to do the things that you really need to do? Because time is a commodity. We don't get it back. And if we don't look at these 3 areas, then we may not get to the place we want to go by the end of the year. So let's go ahead and dive into each one of those 3 areas.
But we'll say yes before we even looked at our calendar. If something going on, we just talk about that. That people please. How do we get out of that and be able to embrace this? No, I can't.
You have to look at the origin of your pleasing. Where did that pleasing come from?
Okay, good.
Why do you have to please? What are you afraid of if you don't? I grew up in a household where I had to please. I had to know exactly what personality or what mood my mother was going to be in when she came home, and I had to mirror that so that I wouldn't get in trouble. So a lot of times when we people please, it's so that we don't get in trouble. But we got to ask ourselves, what's the reality of the trouble that we'll get in if we say no? Period. And we also don't have to give an explanation for our no's.
Thank you for that part.
It's just no.
Just no.
No. And so you got to look at what are you afraid of? First of all, people don't realize that they're pleasing. They just say, well, I'm just a giver. I'm a giver. You know, I love to give. You love to give until somebody takes advantage of you. And then when they take advantage of you, you get upset at them. When they're not the one that said yes, you're the one that said yes. If you'd have said no, they'd have been the exact same way, but you don't know that because you're afraid of what's going to happen when you say no, right? So you're pleasing someone else is at the expense of not pleasing yourself. So you got to think about that. Do I really want to do this? Do I really want to have that person do this? Do I really want that person to do this to me? You know, that's another thing. A lot of women grow up thinking that because a man wants them, that they have to give themselves to them.
Talk about it.
You know, and but my thing is, why do you feel you have to get to the core of every yes you give? Why am I giving this yes? Do I really want to give this yes? Or do I feel like I'm afraid of something's going to happen if I say yes? And if you're not sure, and I tell people all the time, you don't have to give an answer right away.
I like that.
If somebody wants you to do something, let me get back to you.
I like
And if you say you're going to get back to them with it, make sure you give them a certain period of time. Can I get back to you in 24 hours? And you get back to them in that 24 hours. You know what that does? That helps you to answer that question. Do I really want to do this?
Do I really want to do it?
Do I really want to do it? And if I don't, then I say, you know what? I checked. I'm not going to be able to do it. I'm sorry. Maybe another time, but I can't do it. See right there, I didn't give an explanation why I couldn't do it.
No, you didn't.
I just said I couldn't do it. Why I can't do it is none of their business. If I could do it, that would be their business. But it's not. So you have to get to the point where in order for you to stop pleasing other people, find out what caused you to have to please in the first place. If it's a fear of something, get into the root of that fear so that you can deal with that fear. And usually it's a trigger. A trigger, when we say yes, fear is a trigger for something that's going to be repeated that happened to us that was painful in our past. So you got to pay attention to that. And there's so many people, like you read about in my bio, there's so many people that have the residual effects of their childhood traumas. The behaviors they're doing right now are a result of the unresolved traumas that they're not willing to deal with. They're not even willing to admit. And they're willing to minimize it. Oh, well, we all did that. We all went that. Remember hearing that what goes on in the house stays in the house?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, what was so bad about what was in the house that nobody else could know about it? That people pleasing, that's a big one. A lot of times we don't even realize we're doing it. And as I indicated in there, a lot of times we do it because we're just a nice person. But if we're not putting parameters around the time that we spend doing things for other people, then most chances are we have given that time away to somebody else and we're not valuing the things that we really want to do. What is it that's causing you to be fearful of your no that you have to say yes? Think about that one. Now let's get to the next one. The next one is your association. Take a look. Let me just say, one of the things that I think is important, every experience that we have is a part of a bigger puzzle. You like puzzles?
Yes.
Every experience we have is a part of a bigger puzzle. And so that situation is not just about you, it's not just about her. There was a lesson in there for you. Had that not happened, you may not be at the level where you are right now.
Okay, stop, plug. Oh, come on now. Back that up. That's good. Because now I know that's God speaking. Because right after that, I joined the Buckhead Club. After the Buckhead Club, I got a 6-figure event. Then everything started rolling. Because I have to find a video. I'll play it when we come back from a break. That the guy says sometimes your association is blocking your blessings. And I think, ma'am,
he had to bring you out to her.
yes, he did. He had to bring me out.
Sorry.
No. Because I need somebody to hear that. Thank you. That's good. Because sometimes our association is blocking our progress.
Now, as you can see in this one, Jean had quite a revelation from the experience that she had when a friend, wasn't necessarily the friend, they're acting out the way they should, and it caused some situations to happen. But what she realized that had she not had that experience, she would not have gotten to the place where she is now. Think about your own situation. Think about a situation that may have seemed bad at the time, really painful or just really uncomfortable. But what came out of that was something that never would have came out of it, that was good for you had that experience not happened for you. Interesting, huh? Now we're going to look at the last one. What's that last one? No. The word no. How many times do we say yes instead of no when what we really mean is no?
And then let's talk about the next boundary. No is a whole sentence. Period. Talk about that, because some of us are we just break our necks and legs and arms trying to people please all the time. People pleasing. And it hurts to say no, especially it hurts to say no to my children.
What did you get out of that information that I shared with you? Did you realize that there might be some areas that I need to make some changes in? But how? Well, I'm glad you asked, because as your boundaries coach, I do have some ways for you to figure that out so that you can move forward. Yeah, these things are pretty difficult, but when you follow the right steps and you have the courage, then you can make it happen. One of the things I really want for you is I want you to live a balanced lifestyle. What does that mean? That means that you're able to do everything that you want to do and you've got some balance so that you don't feel overwhelmed in one area and neglectful in another area. So I've created an e-course. It's called How to Have a Balanced Lifestyle. In that e-course, you'll get a chance to go through the steps on what it takes for you to do that. It's going to mean taking some time and really figuring out, okay, how am I spending my time? And you're going to have some activities that you're going to do, and it's going to help you so you were able to really lock in that time for what's important to you. Now, I'll tell you the one thing that I always tell people when it comes to setting time boundaries. I used to love Cocoa Puffs, right? Cocoa Puffs is it's a cereal, you know, Cocoa Puffs. I'm cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. I love Cocoa Puffs. At one point, I decided I wanted to lose weight. So I went on a diet program. I'm not going to mention the diet program because they're not paying me to sponsor them. But one of the things about this diet program, when I started and I was working, I could only have so much food within a certain period of time. And it was basically through points, right? It used to be at a time where I loved Cocoa Puffs that I would take my whole box of Cocoa Puffs to work with me. And I'm sitting in my cubicle. People would come by my cubicle and they'd say, "Oh my God, you've got Cocoa Puffs. Can I have some of your Cocoa Puffs?" Because I had a big box of it and I was working. I was like, "Sure, take my box. You can have some Cocoa Puffs." So they did that. Well, imagine by the end of the day, and I went looking at my Cocoa Puffs and I didn't have any Cocoa Puffs left. Once I started on this diet, I knew that my portions were going to be smaller. So what did I do? I decided to put my Cocoa Puffs in little portion-sized snack bags. I didn't take the whole box now. I just took the portion-sized snack bags because that's all I could have, right? In order to reach my goals. I had to set boundaries around the amount of Cocoa Puffs that I could eat. So now when I went to work, I only had these little snack packs of Cocoa Puffs, and people would still come by my desk and they'd see my desk and they'd see these Cocoa Puffs sitting there, right? And they'd say, "Oh, I love Cocoa Puffs. Can I have some of your Cocoa Puffs?" And you know what I told them? I said, "Oh no, you can't have my Cocoa Puffs. This is all I've got." You know, when you're rationed on food, honey, you are not sharing with anybody. Well, that's the same thing we should think about when it comes to our time. Think of your time right now. If you're not setting time boundaries, that your time is like that big old box family size of Cocoa Puffs. And when you give that away, you've got nothing left. That means you don't have the time to do all the things that you really need to do. If you don't have time to do the things you need to do, you're not going to have the time to do the things that you want to do. You have been time depleted. And that robbery of your time was nobody's fault but yours because you didn't keep track of it and you didn't allow that time out. Well, that's what this e-course is allowing you to do. How to have a balanced lifestyle e-course is going to help you to create the time boundaries that you need up front so that as time goes by, you're not giving your time away to needless people, needless situations, needless occurrences that are taking time away, your precious time from doing the things that you set out to do. So I want you to consider this e-course. I'm going to be putting the link down below. Go ahead and take a look at that and see if that's something that you want to do. You need to do that in order to make sure that you will manage your time for the next 10 months so that you will accomplish exactly what you wanted to accomplish for this year. Another thing I want you to think about, how you set those boundaries. There's another course that I have created, and it's called 3 Steps to Your First Bold Boundary. Here's why this is so important. Because a lot of times you think you're setting boundaries with people, and you may not be setting them in a way that you communicated them in a way that they are going to honor those boundaries that you've set. So in this course, I give you an opportunity to learn how to set boundaries using 3 simple steps. And you get a chance to practice them so that when it's time to set that boundary and you want to say no to people and you want to do it in a way that saves your time, then this course is going to help you to do that. All right. And then here's the other one for your association. I have another course that I created that helps you to know 5 questions that you ask yourself. 5 questions to determine if the people in your life are helping you or they're hindering you. Are they holding you back like crabs in a bucket? Is it possible that if you were to curb that relationship or decide what that relationship is going to be, how much time you're going to spend in that relationship, what you will accept from that relationship? If you look at that by really considering these 5 key questions, they're going to help you to decide whether or not these people are helping you to move forward or they're holding you back like crabs in a bucket. So those are the 3 e-courses that I wanted to share with you that are going to really help you as it relates to what we're talking about today. Making sure that you are not allowing other people, other situations, or yourself as an excuse to hold you back from doing the things that you really need to do this year. Hey, I think you can do it. All you got to do is get some support. And that's what I'm here for. If you look at this and say, you know what, geez, this is so hard. I don't know if I can do this. Then you got to look at the information that I shared with you earlier. Why is that? What's holding you back? What's preventing you? Because it's not until you get down to the core, knee deep, and answer those questions honestly and transparently that you're going to be able to decide to make the decision that, you know what? I can do better than this. I need to get to the place where I've been working towards. That's the internal boundary. That's the decision that you make. Once you make that decision and you bought into that hook, line, and sinker, then, honey, let me tell you something. That external boundary, you communicate, you look at your association, you say the word no, and you prevent yourself from doing the people pleasing, you are on your way from doing the things that you need to do to really increase your income, increase your worth, and get out there and do the things that you really want to do. Not just that you need to do, but the things you want to do. In closing, I just want to say, you still got time. Don't beat yourself up, but really look at the things you've accomplished the last 2 months and see how those things have helped you to move you further along so that you can be where you want to be by the end of the year. Okay. And always feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions about the e-courses, or even if you want someone to help you to sit down and think about the things that you really need to do to move forward. That's what I'm here for. I'd be happy to have a coaching session with you, and I'll put that information down there as well. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, because wouldn't it be a shame if I'm sharing something on this podcast and it was just what you needed to hear and you didn't get a chance to listen in. Make sure you subscribe so that when I do my next podcast, you'll be notified. All right. This is Pamela Bird, your boundaries coaching. Let's talk boundaries.